All right, here's a little blues lesson from my yard on Maui. Let me get my positioning right here. So I'm just strumming on this low E string, and we're going to take our time on this one because it's kind of like it's a little bit of a Howlin Wolf thing. So that's some blues you can use right there. So what am I doing? Well, it's a pretty a real basic, simple move, but it's one that can be effective whether you're playing solo, acoustic, or with someone else. It's kind of got a sound a little bit like Smokestack Lightning, you know, that kind of vibe. I think Wolf did that, and a lot of people have covered it. But what I'm really doing here, though, what's important to note is I got my thumb, and in this case, I'm mostly using my thumb and my first finger. It's a technique. It's a blues technique that a lot of the old blues guys would use. And what's cool is because you have that low E string ringing out, you know, however you choose to, you can, you know, whatever pattern you choose to do that in. It could be a random thing, or it could be a shuffle, or straight up, you know. But this one's a little more loose. So it's not an exact science, this one. It's more like using these notes. There's nothing more than an E minor pentatonic pattern, right? But if you bend it, you bend that first note, and you can pick this as you like. So what I'm doing is I'm bending both the high E string and the high B string. That little bend is important because it gives it that bluesy feel, right? That sort of swampy feel. And so I think, you know, this kind of music, it's very, it's pretty loose. You know, it's kind of messy, the blues is. It's not supposed to be perfect, you know, in any way, shape, or form. It's supposed to be just real imperfect. Now that next move, what I'm doing is I'm pinching the G string and the E string, and I'm stuttering. I'm coming up a half step. Let's call that a stutter. With my second finger. Now if you do that with the kind of a dissonant sound, I like it. And then I continue pinching the high E and the G string. And then I land on the E note of the D string, which is second fret. You can either hammer it on, or you can continue hitting that high E with your first finger. And this is what it sounds like if you do. See it. See how I went? Slow motion. All that time, I'm droning that high E with my finger, first finger, because it gets that. So I'm gonna just like go through this a couple times and see what I come up with, because I never know when I'm gonna play until I play it. Right? So check it out. See how it went? Just that little bend on that B string, and then picking up the high E makes a big difference. And that's really, to me, is one of the keys to playing acoustic blues. It's those little half-step bends. Not even a half step; it's a quarter step, really. I mean, hardly. That means a lot. It really changes it from, that's all right, but if you bend it, So there's a, I think John Lee Hooker would definitely approve of that one, because he was a real primal player, and I've shared this before. I recorded a duet with John Lee back in the day and did a lot of gigs with him at a place called the Sweetwater in Mill Valley, where I'm from. And I learned a lot watching him, because he would do random blues licks, and he would change just when he was good and ready, you know. So when you're playing the blues, especially with someone of that stature, you have to be really heads up and listen. You know, it's all right here. It's here, but it's also here. And I think the listening part is so darn important when we're playing with others. If we're just listening to ourselves, it's not really playing music. So I'm gonna leave you with that. But if you like that kind of music, acoustic blues, that kind of stuff, hit me up at jimmydillon.com. Love to hear any comments you might have, or actually requests. You know, if there's anything you want to learn, a song, or, you know, I tend to mostly teach. I guess I teach approach in a way. You know, I try to give you guys something you can use in your own original way, and so they're just tools, you know, that I'm just passing on that I've learned stumbling along the way, you know, playing the world. Okay, well, we'll see you on Aloha from my garden on Maui. Catch you down the road.